Now that we know the teams, we know who they're going to play. What does that mean for the AFC playoff picture? Who's going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl? Welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and in this edition, that's exactly what we are going to go over. We're going to go over the AFC side of the playoff. I'm going to give you my prediction for what is going to happen on the AFC side. We'll do another video. We'll talk about the NFC side, and then in that video, we'll go over the Super Bowl, because by that time, you'll know who I think is going to go in the AFC. You know who I think is going to go in the NFC. Guys, let me tell you something. I feel like the AFC, a lot of things can happen. The NFC, to me, is pretty cut and dry, right? It's pretty bang, 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 as you'll see in that episode. But man, this AFC playoff picture can go a bunch of different ways. Even as I'm sitting here writing it down, I'm crossing things out, saying, ooh, maybe, you can see this team winning, you can see that team winning. But you'll see that there's a clear-cut top of the list. So let's go over the seeding and how I feel about each one of these teams going into the playoffs. Talk about the number one overall seed. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City got off to a really hot start. Patrick Mahomes, of course, looking like an MVP candidate this season. However, since the whole Hunt incident, where he's been now off the team and now no longer in the NFL, it seems like this Kansas City team has not been the same team they were. When you lose a guy like Hunt, that really makes your offense a little less dynamic. But they are still good teams, a team to look out for. They are the number one seed for a reason. So that's my feelings. Let me go down to the number two seed, of course. It's the evil empire. It's those New England Patriots. Of course, as Bills fans, not huge Patriots fans, we would love to see them get knocked out in the second round. Not sure if that's going to happen. You talk about the Patriots not looking as good this season as in years past, 11-5, but they still were able to get that 2 seed. Gives them a bye, gives them a chance to rest up, and we all know how Bill Belichick and Tom Brady can do with 2 weeks to prepare. It's going to be tough to beat this team. They're used to getting there. They're used to the grind of the NFL playoffs. So go to the 3 seed. The 3 seed was my representative going into this season for the AFC in the Super Bowl. That's the Houston Texans. Houston Texans winning the AFC South. Unfortunately, were unable to get that 2 seed the last week of the season, but they did clinch the AFC South, and they are our 3 seed. You gotta love the weapons that they have on offense and the defense. You talk about J.J. Watt on defense. You talk about Jadeveon Clowney. They seem to have an all-around good team, and that's always good to have come playoff time. And you also talk a little bit about maybe Lamar Miller in that running attack. Also good to have come playoff time, a good run game to complement the passing attack. So looking at them. And then number 4, you got the AFC North Division champions. You got the Baltimore Ravens. Always a tough out. The number 1 defense in the league this year. Talk about Harbaugh as a great head coach. A lot of teams were hoping that the Baltimore Ravens wouldn't be able to get a contract extension. Was able to happen. So he'll be there for a little bit longer, but always a tough out in Baltimore, especially if you're going to Baltimore. You're talking about the number 1 defense in the league. We all know how defense wins championships. That's going to come into play this season. And then we have the number 5 seed, the LA Chargers. The Chargers had a great season this year, just unfortunate that they were in the same division as the Kansas City Chiefs. They actually had the second best record in the AFC, tied with the Chiefs. Chiefs had the tiebreaker, however, but they still end up as the 5 seed, which means they will not host a single playoff game unless, of course, the AFC Championship game is between them and the 6th seed. The 6th seed, the Indianapolis Colts, winning on Sunday in a win and you're in type scenario with the Tennessee Titans. They beat the Tennessee Titans. They're in the playoffs. Andrew Luck is back. And, of course, if you're a Bills fan, hey, Frank Reich's here, baby. So you're looking forward to cheering for them. If you're a Bills fan and you want someone to cheer for, have cheering interest, you always can look at Frank Reich and that team over there. Frank Reich coming from Philly, the team who won the Super Bowl last season. So those are the 6 seeds going into the playoffs. That means this wild card weekend, you have your 3 versus 6 matchup. That's going to pin the Houston Texans against the Indianapolis Colts. Guys, this could be a tough one because you have 2 great quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson and Andrew Luck. Indianapolis has a great offensive line. They've been playing for the playoff lives for a couple weeks now already. So, they're used to this playoff type atmosphere. So this is going to be a tough game. Again, these are one of those games that go either way. I could see both wildcard teams coming away from this weekend with a W going into next week. But In this one, I'm going to edge Houston over the Indianapolis Colts. I just think they have some really good weapons on offense, and that defense is just a little bit better than the Indianapolis Colts defense. So I'll give the edge to the Houston Texans, and I'll have them moving on into the divisional round matchup. So going over to our next matchup, you're talking about the Baltimore Ravens and the LA Chargers. Again, the LA Chargers had the second best record in the AFC this season. It's just unfortunate that they play in the same division as the Kansas City Chiefs, or else they'd have some home games then too. But and then New England wouldn't be the 2 seed, but that's okay. Baltimore, the #1 defense, of course. #2 was our Bills, but they surpassed us in the by I think like 8 yards or something like that. It wasn't a lot, but they're the #1 defense in the league. We saw what Baker Mayfield did against this Baltimore Ravens defense. I think if you have a good passing attack, you can get to this Baltimore Ravens defense. They're obviously better with the run than the pass. So that's how I think the Chargers have a chance to win this game. And we're talking about Phillip Rivers, right? Phillip Rivers is a veteran. He knows not to make big mistakes, and he knows how to get the ball out of his hands. So I think that favors the Chargers in this game. So I have the Chargers winning this one over Baltimore, which means that the wild card weekend, I have the Chargers over the Ravens, and I have the Texans over the Colts. So that moves us on to the divisional round of the playoffs. And if the wild card weekend is true to what I predict, that means the LA Chargers will go up against the Kansas City Chiefs. And that also means that the Houston Texans will play the New England Patriots. So in the first matchup, KC versus LA. Again, Kansas City's offense just really hasn't been the same since they lost Hunt. The second matchup of the season between these two teams was won by the LA Chargers, and I see the Chargers going into Kansas City and beating them again. I have the Chargers over the Chiefs in this one, and heading into championship weekend. That puts us in our second matchup, which would be the New England Patriots, again, that the Evil Empire, versus the Houston Texans, who were my preseason prediction to make the Super Bowl. It's going to be tough to go into Gillette Stadium and get a win. All right, especially if you're used to being a dome team. The Houston Texans normally play in dome. You're going up to Gillette Stadium in January trying to get a victory. And you know, it's always tough to beat New England. You still have Tom Brady. You still have Gronkowski, even though he hasn't looked as good. You still have Bill Belichick preparing for you guys each week. They played earlier this season. It was really early in the season. New England did come away with the victory. So I expect the same thing in this matchup. I know Bills fans will hate to hear that. I expect New England to come out on top of the Houston Texans in this one, which puts us into our championship matchup, which would be the New England Patriots at home again versus the LA Chargers. The Chargers having a better record this offseason than the Patriots, but the Patriots, of course, winning the division, so they get home field. They're the #2 seed. So in this matchup, you have Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, a matchup that's always fun to watch. Two great quarterbacks going at it. Chargers have more weapons on offense, so that, you know, you talk about Josh Gordon. Yeah, no, Josh Gordon's not in this game. Josh Gordon's not in the playoffs because he decided to use drugs again, so good for him. But you talk about Gordon over there, running back for the Chargers. You talk about some key weapons over there on the offensive side of the ball. You talk about Antonio Gates possibly getting a chance to play in the Super Bowl, and that is what I see happening. I see the LA Chargers winning 3 road games in a row to make it to the Super Bowl. So you have the LA Chargers. They would beat the Baltimore Ravens, the #1 overall defense in the league. They would beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium, and then they would beat the New England Patriots in Gillette Stadium. So that's my prediction for the AFC side. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. It's nice, though, that we could say, hey, this is only year 1 of the Bills' current playoff drought, right? So we missed the playoffs this year, of course, but that does not mean we're not excited, as Bills fans have plenty of content coming out, including, is Josh Allen going to be good enough to be our franchise quarterback? We'll talk about some of the key free agents that are coming up, who Bills should target coming up in free agency. Obviously, talk about some draft prospects. So there's plenty of things to look forward to on Believers Talk. So if you're not subscribed to Believers Talk, if you want to follow Buffalo sports, including our Buffalo Bills, hit that subscribe button. I will keep you constantly updated on all things Bills news, Sabres news, any other Buffalo sports news that comes up, and we'll keep you updated on all things going around the NFL. So thank you for joining my Believers Talk, and hit that subscribe button. hit that notification bell. Lets you know when I go live. I try to go live at least 1-2 times a week. I would go live for every single Buffalo Bills game. Obviously, there's no Bills games. If you go onto my Twitter page, I'm currently having a poll. Which game do you guys want me to do play-by-play and reaction to? Always enjoy doing that. So go onto my Twitter page. It's in the description below and vote on which game you want me to do the live stream for. But that's all I have. AFC, we have the LA Chargers representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment below, tell me what you guys think. What's going to happen in this AFC playoff race? Maybe I'm just picking the Chargers because I don't want to see the Patriots go back. But hey, that's the way it is. So thank you for joining my Believers Talk. Thank you for watching this episode again. Subscribe to this channel. We always have a good time. I'll see you soon. Until then, go Bills.